Welcome to the Honcast.com presentation on Breaking CPK. Going to be one of your 3 podcasting hosts tonight. Joining me is Ziori, of course, the Honcast as well. And also going to be joined by Xander K, the S2 Games Community Manager. We are excited to be here tonight because we have plenty to talk about on this great podcast show of ours. It's been a while, obviously, taking a little bit of a break there, but we are back now and plenty to catch up on, plenty of announcements to make. Excited for tonight's show. First things first, before we get too much into that, though, I want to throw it around the board like always. How you doing, Ziori?
I'm doing fairly well, Breaky. Thank you for asking. Pumped up to podcast, as I know you're aware. I don't know about everybody else or Xander. I love podcasting. It's one of my favorites. If I could pick one job and do it all the time and still live, I would be a podcaster professionally. So I'm pumped, man. I like shooting the breeze with fellow New Earthian nerds like yourselves.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Xander K, you're joining us as well, of course. As always, how you doing, buddy?
Busy as hell, but good.
That's always a good thing, though.
Well, yes, but I don't think I've sat at my desk over the last, 2 days more than, an hour total. So that's exciting and fun. But,
wow.
That's a good thing, though, because that means, we're working on a lot of cool stuff, so.
Yeah.
Excited, but, quite busy.
How them Devils doing?
Them Devils are playing this evening, and you're tearing me away from it. And by tearing me away from it, I mean I'm watching it on my TV during the last half hour.
Not going to miss much. You won't miss much. I'm sure they'll be down
It's the Eastern Conference
anyways.
Finals, baby. Come on.
It's just hockey.
Yeah, Breaky. The finals.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals, not the actual
Breaky.
finals, okay?
You can appreciate the finals of anything, man. Come
I
on
can.
now.
You know what, you're right.
Well, he can't because the Lakers are already out of the playoffs.
Hey-yo! Got me there, zinger! But the LA Kings are in the Stanley Cup Finals, so...
Which you didn't know until I
That's where I got things going. Yeah, I didn't know that. I had no clue. But I am a die-hard LA Kings fan, so I'm happy to see them there. Anyways, we do have, as I keep on saying, we definitely have quite the show planned tonight, guys. There's plenty to talk about. Really 4 big things. One is we're going to get it kicked off here in just a second. We're going to be going over the top 10 community rankings. Those are finally back, and we're really excited for that. We kind of, it's a new twist to it where it's going to be more than just simply us giving our top 10 and then a text format document. I mean, it's going to be a lot more. We got a video that we made, and we want it. It's going to be every 2 weeks. I mean, it's definitely Honk competitive scene right now is looking good, and we're excited for that. So after that, we're definitely planning on talking about DreamHack a little bit. Obviously, that finished up, and plenty to talk about with DreamHack and what all of our thoughts were on that, and maybe some surprises that we saw from it, and obviously the ending results. Then after that, we're going to go into some DreamHack discussion, and we actually are going to be making some a pretty large announcement tonight, considering DreamHack. We're going to be releasing the full schedule for DreamHack Summer 2012, meaning you will be able to know which team is playing which team at what time for those 2 days. In fact, I'll pull up the schedule right here, what it looks like right now, generic. And the reason why it looks like this is because we're actually going to draw where each team is. So the drawing, it's not necessarily the biggest deal in the world, as it's obviously all one group. Every team plays each other once, but this will give you an idea of when each team is playing against who, and allow us to highlight some matchups. We're going to do a drawing to see which team is Team A, which team is Team B, and so on. So we're going to have some fun there. And then to finish it off, we actually have an announcement that Phil the Thrill, he's going to be coming on, esports manager, and has an announcement for us to make. So,
man himself.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So that's kind of the outline of the show. Man, it's been a while, guys. I mean, a lot's happened. A lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
When was the last podcast, actually?
I feel like the last actual podcast was maybe a month ago. I mean, it's definitely been a while.
Been slacking.
It was before DreamHack, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so that's what's kind of on deck here. Without further ado, I guess, Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings. Now, as I said, we made a video for this, so I'm going to go ahead and actually show you guys the video. This will actually release the rankings, and so you'll get an idea of which team is where and whatnot. So it's about a 5-minute video. Sit back and enjoy it, and then we'll discuss it after, of course, and give our personal top 10s as well. So here you go. Here's the Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings, voted by the community. Take a look. Town, baby. Let's do this. Woo! Woo! Champions, they've been in this experience before. The genocide for Team Easy. Torture going in, but at what cost right here? Yes!
I'm BreakyCBK, and these are the Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings. Every 2 weeks, we take a poll from 15 competitive players and community members to find out where teams rank against one another according to the community. Someone who submits a poll will give their own top 10 list of the current competitive Hon teams, where each place gets a specific amount of points ranging from first place getting 10 points, second place getting 9 points, and so on, all the way down to 10th place getting only 1 point. Things that the voters take into consideration when making their list are recent results, activity of the team, recent big matchups, and previous rankings, amongst other things. Once we have all of the submissions in, we add up all the lists to get our official Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings. Here's how the list breaks down for this week's Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings, May 23, 2012. Teams that were just outside the top 10 list included Bren, who got 10 points, Vitriolic with 15 points, and Deserto, now known as the 90s, with 20 points. In the 10th spot, Orange Esports Malaysia barely squeaked in, being the only team from the Southeast Asian region to do so. Orange will now be representing the Southeast Asian region as a result of winning the qualifiers for DreamHack last week. With the 9th position, Clan Milk made it into the top 10. Although they lost in the DreamHack North American qualifiers earlier than expected, they did have a very impressive victory over BlackFade.org in the ESL Major Series quarterfinals. Coming in 8th, HonPortal.org got by. Although Port has been in a bit of a struggle recently with some disappointing finishes, they're still showing that they are worthy of a top 10 placement. For the 7th position, SGTY, who were known as coming soon in the DreamHack event, got in. A team that is going through some changes, their success in the DreamHack event, which included competing in the finals of the EU qualifiers, got them into the spot.
Silhouette, of course, back up. They're going to try to jump right here. Magma Sea Eruption. Swinobellos picks up a double tap right there in the midst of it all. You see Artesia with that shrunken head. That does nothing, though, against that Mage Bane. Electrician goes down. There's a vote to concede. And it looks like it is going to be official. SGTY's going on to the grand finals to meet up with BlackFade.org and get that rematch in the best of them.
At number 6, we have A-Man, who have seemed to be a very consistent team. Not having any big tournament victories, but always managing to do very well in them. Starting the top 5 with the 5th spot, Team It's Gosu barely edged out A-Man by 1 point. You could argue that this is fair, seeing as Team It's Gosu beat AY in the DreamHack EU qualifiers, but Team It's Gosu also has been a mix of success and disappointment. With the 4th spot, Fnatic Raycall was able to secure it. Not competing in the DreamHack event as a result of already qualifying for DreamHack Summer 2012 has meant that they haven't really been too active in recent history. But having results including defeating TDM in the CSM Play Heroes Cup shows that they are still very solid. In the 3rd position, BlackFade.org has become a powerhouse team on the competitive scene, winning the DreamHack EU qualifiers. However, Frey has proven to be a bane for them as they lost to them both in the CSM Play Heroes Cup as well as the Fnatic Play Tournament.
Wolfon going to go shortly after the Obliterate activated. Really not doing a hell of a lot of damage, but Polywog Priest going to lock down for Sagan Archer again. Smacks Donald, not going to get that shrunken head off, and he's going to fall. Now Electrician in big trouble. The Plague bouncing around, doing a hell of a lot of damage between Luna and Glacius. Glacius going to try and pour it out, but it's not going to be enough.
In a very close race, the 2nd place team that comes out to be Frenetic Array. Receiving 6 out of the 15 first place votes shows that there's at least a good mix of opinion. Frey did have a big victory over the weekend, though, taking out TDM in the semifinals of the Fnatic Play Tournament.
I can see right here, they're going to jump to your side. The Shrunken is not off Guna. It didn't even matter, though. He explodes to the ground right there. Fade will get jumped as well, and Fade will fall to the ground. Morax is standing his ground, hoping for the best, but again, there's just no damage output coming out from the Legion team right now, especially with Fade dead. Cthulhu charges away. He will get the charge on top of Morax, setting up to killing him, and now this tower will fall. There goes a vote to concede coming out. GG well played is being called.
And to wrap up the top 10 community rankings for this week, Trademark Esports are the number 1 team. Getting 9 of the 15 first place votes proved to be needed as they only beat Frey by a total of 3 points. Weekend got us 2 best-of-3 series between these two teams, where they split between one another.
Pebbles will combo right there. Ooh, and here we go. They know his combo's down. I'm not sure about that decision. Samrith will pour it in Willie Teslas Curse. No, not enough mana for Teslas Curse, actually. That's kind of a big deal, but Pebbles will get caught. Will chucks him either way, but the Bat Blast comes out, finishing him off. The Sonar Scream hitting Torture as well, and Torture dropping quickly. Behemoth jumps in with an ultimate on top of Cthulhu and the Electrician, and they will start dropping, but not enough. Trample coming out, not going to be enough when the Electrician and Cthulhu fall. And there's the port out from Nymph4. GG's are being called, and it looks like Trademark Esports are going to be your ESL Major Series number 10 Heroes and Newer champions.
Will TDM be able to hold the #1 spot next time around? Will teams just on the outside of the top 10 this time be able to make it in next time? We'll have to wait and see. Until next time, Hon community, stay classy.
Boom. So there you go, guys. There we go. As you see, and as you heard there, that is our top 10 list for community rankings for the May 23rd, 2012. And of course, as I explained in there, every 2 weeks you can expect this list to be happening. And you know, it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's by no means the absolute official list, but you know, perhaps a good idea of where teams stand. So how about that? I mean, obviously, I'm sure both of you guys were watching that, so you got an idea now of how the top 10 actually looks. It was a close race there at the very end, number 1 and 2. 3 points difference. That was very close, but obviously Trademark Esports coming out on top.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the video break. It was the first time I got to see it, so that was a treat.
Yeah.
Stay classy.
Stay classy, on community. I thought I would, you know, rip off Rob Burgundy there.
It's very nice. It was very nice. I like it. It was good. It's perfect, you know, for the person that is interested in HOM but doesn't really watch streams. It's a nice, you know, what have the big wigs been up to? I like it. I approve.
What do you guys make of the actual list, though, that came out? As I said, very close top race. I mean, anything too crazy to you guys that stands out?
Go for it, Ken.
I think that if Trademark was not number 1, think something would have been amiss. But besides that, nothing too incredibly major, I guess. I mean, right now, I think outside of the top few teams, there's a lot of parity, which is pretty good, especially for, like, in terms of development. I mean, you don't necessarily want what has been in the past, and that is that, like, there's, like, 2 teams or 1 team that's, like, way better than everyone else, and then there's everyone else, and they're all kind of like, well, you know. But, like, a lot of people can beat TDM on any given day, though TDM is clearly the best team, and the teams below them are all really close to each other. So I think that's really good.
Very, very true. Very true. And I definitely agree with you there. And, you know, we have had that in the past. But on that note, 17 or 18 teams actually got some type of vote in this poll. And that goes to show you, how many teams actually are on people's minds in terms of who actually is the top 10 teams. And that's, again, a good thing. So, Zuri, I believe the point.
I am absolutely shocked that Peter Pandam's team was so high. They weren't even on my list.
Really? Were they not?
They were not. Partially because I kind of forgot about them, but I don't know if I would have put them so high. I mean, I probably would have put them 10. I mean, I had Vitriolic and Bren ahead of A-Man on my list. I'm shocked to see them that high, and a little bit shocked to see Orange Esports Malaysia that low, actually. So those are my 2. They kind of stand out. Everything else, though, looks about on par. I will say, though, getting a step ahead perhaps, my top 5 were right on par. Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty good. Same order and everything breaking.
You know what, Ziori? You're all discussing your top 10 and everything. I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot now and pull up your personal top 10 so people can see who you actually voted for, and so now you can go a little bit more in depth of. And you were actually wrong. Your top 5, according to what we got, actually was different.
Oh, you're right. Okay, SGTY and its code, so I had flop.
Yeah.
All right. My bad.
But yeah, as you can see, there's your top 10. So explain yourself, Ziori.
Well, pretty close. I mean, as you know, at least, Breaky, the last time you asked me to do my top 10, I didn't really put top 10, and I just kind of put them in groups of tiers. And I think that's a little bit more powerful. You know, the distinguishing mark between rank 6 and rank 7, I feel like, is somewhat meaningless. Yeah. But that kind of, who are the top 3, who are the middle 3, who are the bottom 3, you know, that's really what's important. And I think the top 4 in this case are pretty interesting. Black Fade, very deserving of 3, but very recently. They were one of the ones where I looked at What have they been up to? Recently, they have been on fire, and they totally deserve to be up there. As you mentioned in the video, Breaky, Fnatic Raid Call, they haven't been quite as active recently because they're already qualified for the big event, the DreamHack event. So, I think just their track record puts them at a really high point. But right now, at this present space and time, I think 4 is about on par. Yeah. SGTY, Swindle Melons is strong. Their team's strong. They played well. Teammates Gosu, it pained me to put them so low on the list, but they've been slacking, man. Teammates Gosu really hasn't been looking good. Fresh Pro parted ways with the team, and he's, it's not that he made the team, but Fresh Pro is a very, very strong player, so to see him part ways, it's definitely bad news bears. Han Portal, it's a name that's been around, but I feel like that name is not representative of the team that's currently playing under it, just because there have been so many different players, so many different people that have been on port. Mm-hmm. I mean, that team name has floated around more so than any of the others. So I thought 7 sounded fair. Panny's a nice guy. Clan Milk, we saw them do pretty well today. Of course, that was after I submitted this, but Clan Milk's been fairly solid, and I think Clan Milk's one of the teams that has a lot of potential. And they're still trying to hit their mark, but I think they're going to start to explode pretty quickly. My last 2, my 9 and 10, Bren and Vitriolic, thinking back, I probably should have put Orange Esports on there. I'm not really sure why I didn't. I probably just slipped my mind, to be perfectly frank. And also, we never see Orange Esports Malaysia play, so it's really hard for me to picture in my head, well, how do they compare to Teammates Gosu? I don't know. They're really different. They have a different play style, and there's a lot that gets thrown in the mix. But I think Bren and Vitriolic are 2 very underestimated teams. I think they're very explosive. They're not consistent. They are not consistent, but they are definitely very, very powerful. And as far as the top 10s that I didn't even... A-Man, like I said, I don't think they've ever won anything. I don't...
They've always been one of those teams, kind of as I put in the video there, and I stand strong by this, they get far. They get to the semifinals. They get pretty far in events. Like in the DreamHack event, they got pretty far. They ended up losing to Teammates Gosu in the later rounds, but they haven't actually won a big tournament. So that's where that's the great thing about these rankings, though, because again, you're getting so many different opinions, and you put it together. Some people might have not had them on the list, such as yourself. Some people rank them as highly as, I believe, 5 or 4. So.
What did they have a different? What was their team name before A-Man?
Big Girls Don't Cry, I believe they went by for a little bit.
Yep. How about before that?
Peter Pan Dam's team. I honestly forget.
Who else is even on the team besides Peter Pan Dam?
Chubby Chris 2.
All right.
Who the hell else is it? You're gonna put me on the spot here. I'm actually not.
Well, they just, in my mind, that team does not stand out really amongst any of those other top 10s. I don't know. And also one of the things about Vitriolic Gaming that we can't forget about is they were one of the early teams that got matched up against
Crazy. That was the other team.
Smart Went Crazy, okay.
Yeah.
But Vitriolic, they were put up against, Fun in the Sun Gaming. So they got blown away in one of the second rounds. So, I feel like DreamHack for Vitriolic Gaming exclusively really wasn't a fair demonstration of their skill, and I think that's one of the things that Moonmander talked about after TDM won in that interview that I think was really on par. That's really unfortunate because I think Vitriolic, I've seen at least a couple of games where they've done some pretty crafty stuff in the drafting and had some pretty serious plays come down. So I stand by my 9 and 10 Vitriolic and Bren. Got to fight for the little guys, Breaky.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not personally a huge fan of Vitriolic. I agree that they are a powerful team, and it's great to always see the North American scene with better teams. They're definitely one of those, but yeah, getting knocked down in the DreamHack, and then talks of them recently, not maybe in the greatest mood, and then even before that, they really didn't have that great of results. You talked about Peter Pan Dam's team. What has Vitriolic done for that matter? So.
It's a good point, Breaky. You found a flaw in my logic.
Gotcha. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Xander K's list because he hasn't talked for a while. So, Ken, if you want to...
letting Ziori have his time in the spotlight.
Oh, yeah. Do you want more spotlight time, Ziori? Or you think
I'm actually very intrigued to see what Ken did here.
All right.
I'm looking forward to poking fun at his top 10.
There you go, Ken. Your top 10 is officially on the board. Go ahead and explain yourself as well.
Await it to come up so I can remember exactly what I put, as is typical. Yeah. So I did have TDM at the top spot, as I previously explained. I think that it's hard for me to pick anyone but TDM for that. Um, it's just I feel like they're the strongest team. I feel like that they've been together for a really long period of time, and I think that they're the team that everyone looks at in terms of like to beat, in terms of the team to beat when you think of a team to beat. Then Frenetic Array, I have Frey up there, not only because of their victory in the Australian scene, but I really don't think that they. I don't want people to sleep on them again, like they did going to DreamHack in the winter. Just because they're a team that maybe not everyone sees as much as they should. Obviously, it's been a lot more since DreamHack because people know a lot more about them now. But some people even feel like oh well, it's not their full roster because they're bringing they're not bringing
Bobo.
Riser, so they're bringing Bobo instead.
Yeah.
But they just beat TDM the other day in a match with that roster. So it's like, oh well, I guess they are pretty good. So Frey I have pretty high. I think that they're going to do extremely well. Fnatic, despite being not obviously focusing their 100% on Han, but I think that Fnatic's a team that is always dangerous to take a matchup, and they always will do well in a tournament. I can see them slipping in future versions of the list just because of that reason. I don't know how much they're going to be practicing going into DreamHack. I hope a lot because there's a lot of money on the line. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Black Fate I have just below them, and that was kind of a hard decision. I think Black Fate is probably the next team to really challenge Trademark if they continue on their current road. They've been really, really strong, especially recently, and moving up in the ranks. So I really like where Black Fate is going. Then moving down the line, SGTY almost had a really great chance to beat Black Fate, or got all the way through the European bracket, which a lot of people say was the hardest bracket of the DreamHack tournament, and that's why they're up there. I-Man, because I do know about Peter's team. Peter's team is pretty good. They have gotten a lot of respect just from playing really well in a lot of these tournaments. I know they'll be at DreamHack. So I'm looking forward to see how they'll play. That's a team that really can surprise a top team and take a game off when they're not expecting it. So I'm excited to see what they can do. It's Gosu, despite not playing that well recently and losing their star name. I still think they're a pretty solid team. And then running out the list, just Soontour, Clan K, and BX3. I think that all those teams, and pretty much every team going down below that, Vitriolic, Clan Milk, Bren, all those teams are teams that are in kind of the same bracket, sort of like what you talked about, Ziori. If you're doing groupings, I'd say they're all in the same kind of, and they all can be very, very good. I think they're just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those final three spots, really, I agree. It's definitely can be difficult to fill them out right now, which it's a good problem to have. That's not to complain.
Yeah.
So,
Ken, what about Orange Esports? Did you just forget about them, kind of like I did, or was that intentional?
It's not forgetting about them. It's more not seeing them enough.
Yeah. No frame of reference.
It's hard for me to rate them when I haven't been actively watching all of their stuff.
Yeah.
It's really the same thing as going into last DreamHack with Frenetic Array. It's like, well, maybe they've been good in the past. They play kind of different. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're as good as Frey is, but we'll see how it works out.
It's to more of an extreme even, I think, too.
For people asking about other teams like Clan Milk and Port and things like that, and all that stuff to me falls in the bracket of, well, let's see what happens kind of teams. Clan Milk, I think, maybe a little bit higher than that.
I was going to say, if you took those bottom five or whatever, Port, Milk, Bren, Vitriolic, BX3 Multicasters, Clan K, who would you say top two out of those? K and BX3? Or you
No.
just blacksmith those bad boys?
I was just like, all right, these are all literally in the same bracket in my head. Probably like top 2 out of those. I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I just ask because I think of Port and Milk as kind of on like a mini tier up on that. You know, they're like
Probably,
that,
but like both of those teams can have the potential to be really erratic.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my problem with them. So we'll see. I mean, Port has been in situations where they're like, they might be a top team, and then all of a sudden they're like, they're freaking terrible, and then it's like, okay, they're all right, maybe a top team awful, and they just go up and down and up and down, and then they leave teams and change teams, and it's like, it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, as you always said earlier, I mean,
But,
Port's one of those organizations, they have been through a lot of players and a lot of teams, so it seems...
On that subject, shout out to Han Portal for continuing to support their team through all of this shenanigans, because there's been a lot of it, and they rock for hanging on and keeping with it.
But do either of you have any idea? Is Fresh Pro on a team right now, or I know he's not on its Gosu anymore.
That's good to bring up. I mean, he was did leave or got kicked or whatever from Team It's Gosu.
Honestly, I know I have some ties with its Gosu, but I have absolutely no clue what happened with that. I don't know if it was a falling out or just a change of heart or what, but they definitely parted ways.
I am not sure. I don't think he's on a team right now. I mean, you know, he has been to previous DreamHacks, obviously with Fnatic and even before that, so wouldn't surprise me if he shows up at DreamHack with a team. I mean, if you're out looking for a fit,
so good. I mean, I think you could make. Someone told me that Fresh Pro has like the most first place wins of any other Han player or something. I don't know if
wouldn't
that's
be surprised.
true.
I mean, when you're playing for a team like Fnatic MSI, as long as he was,
you tend to win games.
You tend to win a lot of games. So
you could make a case for him being one of the top players of all time. I think.
Yeah,
I think probably. I think he's probably
successful players.
The
I think
most
is a better way to put
underrated player.
Okay, I think you could say that.
Yeah, I don't want to say.
Well, wait, who underrates Fresh Pro?
Yeah, because to be underrated.
For the longest time, they're like, "Oh, he's terrible. They should kick him out of Fnatic." And like people are like, "Oh, Fresh is a feeder and stuff like that." And then when he left, they're like, "Oh, they won't miss him or anything like that."
He's a suicide lane player.
He's like the best suicide lane player. It's like it's hard. It's really hard to undervalue him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Underrated seems kind of strong word for me to use for him, but
big Fresh Pro fan.
I've always been one.
Fresh Pro fan
He's
as well.
He's the SmackDown king.
Oh yeah, well of course.
He's one that, yeah. So
that was great. But yeah, like I mean, for the longest time, I feel like he's always been the most undervalued player on that team, especially on the old Fnatic teams. Like people would go on and on about how great Fly's drafting was, and how No-Tail's the best middle player, and how Trixie is the best carry in the game, and Nova's the best support in the game, and nobody said anything about Fresh Pro ever. And
it's a bummer.
And it was unfortunate because he was such a phenomenal player. So I mean, I hope that Fresh finds a really good place. I mean, I think I heard he was playing with Port, but I have no idea.
I'm not sure. I have
that would be interesting. So. I don't know.
Port is looking for a new fifth. I can confirm that. So I was talking to Pandy just the other day. So it's possible. It is.
Exchange business cards, fellas.
On that note, since we're talking about kind of rosters and whatnot, there was a couple more that I wanted to bring up. One is on talking about A-Man. They actually did pick up apparently Nier and Rape from Soon Tour. Those couple of those players there, and Soon Tour apparently is no longer anymore. As I just totally screwed that up, but anyways, Soon Tour doesn't exist anymore. Apparently, unfortunately, they ended up disbanding. So, but those two players are actually now a part of A-Man, and then also SGTY is trying out El Violator, I believe. So
I saw that.
I don't know if that's official by any means, but they are looking for a fifth for DreamHack because I think it's Noob G can't make it or something. So. There's that situation there. So,
and who is Get Violator? I mean, I know he's got quite the presence on the forums, but who was he ever on like a big team? He talks a big game.
Yeah,
he's
never
fairly
really
new.
What's a big game?
Oh wait, that's Izzy Stradlin, isn't it? Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, he's been around.
He's changed his name like 6 times.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
Was he like big before I came in?
Swindle says that Get Violator is their fifth.
Okay. I don't know if he's has he ever really been on like in a big name team? I don't think he was with Lion, was he? Early Lions? Who was he with? Ken, say it.
I don't remember perfectly.
Okay.
I will get it for you in a second. So someone, you know what? Well, let's play this game. Chat.
Chad, answer for us.
On Portal.
He was with Han
he was in
Portal apparently
Han
when they first.
Portal.
Okay.
I see. That clears it up. That's
Okay.
Man,
Interesting.
cheese and crackers.
One of those many teams with Han Portal.
He was on Infuse.
INFS, yeah, that's right.
Wait, was INFS? That's Peter Pan Dam's team, but that's not the same roster as A-Man / Big Girls Don't Cry / I'm Not Scared.
That was before that.
Okay.
Man, so many roster changes have happened. I remember that with NASL, and that all happened where Peter Pan Dam used to play with SGTY at that time. Oh god, that's going way crazy. Anyways,
Peter Pan Dam.
You're blowing my mind.
I know,
Break.
it's
played with
crazy.
TM, and then he changed to Infuse at the beginning of NASL.
Yeah.
Swindle Mullins to the rescue.
You fellas
That's
are
right.
just... You guys got the history, man. I can't compete.
so many roster changes happening.
All right.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of just an update though on what actually happened. Well, what's been happening with roster changes in the competitive scene. So, anyways, my list. I haven't done my list yet. I might as well pull mine up.
I want to hear it, Breaky, so
Might as well
bad.
talk
More than
about mine.
anything.
All right. So, as you can see here, here's my list. Trademark Esports, I got in the #1 spot. Frenetic Array #2. I think those are kind of self-explanatory, obviously. And Black Fade third. I find it hard to believe that those three, winning the DreamHack event, and maybe it is because they are just fresh in our minds. But that should mean something as well. If they have been very active and very successful in one of the biggest events we've had recently, so those three, I think it's hard to argue. #4, I had It's Gosu. I've always been a fan of It's Gosu. They did fairly well in the DreamHack event, and they've always been a very consistent team, but haven't had the most breakthrough performances, unfortunately. But it seems like they've always been pretty consistent. So I got them in #4 spot. A-Man, similar thing as I talked about earlier as well. I got SGTY behind them, and I'm looking at this, and maybe I could have put SGTY above It's Gosu ultimately when I think about it, because they did defeat them in the DreamHack event. But at the same time, I think the reasoning I had when I was first making this list was that SGTY was basically formed for DreamHack, and I like to give a little bit more to a team like Team It's Gosu, who's been around longer and was playing in previous tournaments than just simply the DreamHack event. So. That's probably where logic comes from that. And all the way 7th, I had Fnatic, and I know this might surprise some people or piss some people off even that are watching. As I don't even know, I'm not even looking at chat. But now a big reason why I have Fnatic this low is they've been so. Obviously, they've been focusing a lot of their time in Dota 2, and it has shown from time. And they have been fairly inactive recently. And I just think, and again, I think it's more of a case of I want to give respect to teams that have been participating, have been playing very recently. Yes, it's not their fault that they didn't compete in DreamHack, of course, but I think with Fnatic kind of taking this break of playing Dota 2 and maybe not focusing as much on Han, it is allowing some teams to step up and get above them, such as the teams that I have ahead of them. So as much as I love Fnatic, and definitely difficult for me to put them down there, as I do get called a Fnatic fanboy all the time. Believe it or not, but
someone said that about me with TDM today.
I've been called a fanboy of every single top tier team, so it doesn't even matter.
Fnatic more than anyone else.
Fnatic more than everyone, yeah, that's probably true. But who isn't a fan of Fnatic? Let's be honest. So that's why I have them in #7 spot. Then it goes Han Portal, Deserto, now known as the 90s, and then Bren to round it up actually. So, and again, that's as we've talked about, really interchangeable, I guess.
But Breaky, what about Clan Milk?
I've been disappointed with Clan Milk, and obviously today that may have changed some things because, if you are tuning in, obviously, as we say on every podcast, spoiler alert, you will get spoiled even if you didn't catch the match. But Clan Milk did defeat Trademark Esports today, and of course these were taken before those even happened. So if I knew that result, then yes, I would have definitely put Clan Milk on the top 10. But they had a very disappointing result in the DreamHack event. I mean, they were arguably #2, #3 team in that region going into it, and they didn't do too well, including losing the exclamation point, which I think is a team that they really should beat. So,
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, and they just haven't. I love them, and I've said this so many times, but they haven't done enough for me until very recently to get on the top 10. But next week's top 10, or in 2 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if I put them on. So.
Yeah, I like that you put Bren at the bottom, though, man. Bren represent. Team Bren.
I liked casting Bren. I liked watching them in DreamHack, and I think that they did they show that they are an up-and-coming team on the competitive scene. You know, I don't know if they've necessarily been participating since DreamHack, which is kind of unfortunate, but I would like to start seeing them participating once again. You know what? It's Gosu this weekend, for example, so we'll see. But
yeah. Bren's team's totally non-consistent, or very inconsistent. Like, I mean, that's something we've said quite a bit in the past. But what I like about, man, they're risk takers, dude. They're not afraid to go balls to the wall, try something different, try something new, and sometimes it works. And every time we cast Bren, I'm always hesitant to make predictions because they tend to throw curveballs.
No, none of us put Orange Esports in the top 10, though. That's something. Yet they somehow got 10th place. So it goes to show you that just because we didn't, you know, others obviously did. And I think we've talked about it already, but it really is a case of who are the, you know, we really haven't seen enough of them. And they do have to deal with high latency whenever they do participate in an international event. And they did win the Garena DreamHack qualifiers, though. So that obviously speaks for itself. And
there you go.
Ultimately made the top 10, but just on any of our 3 lists. So I think that is interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of on par with Ken, where I sort of forgot about him a little bit. I mean, it crossed my mind, but I'm like, I have no basis for anything about how they compare to these teams, so it's really hard to judge that. I'm just gonna say my list was limited to not G Arena.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, once again, in case you are just tuning in, here is the official top 10 for the week, guys, for May 23rd. Again, every 2 weeks we're going to be doing this. We do have a video, and it'll be on our YouTube channel, on our site as well, for if you did happen to miss that. So, but yeah, so here's the official top 10 list, and there you go. That's how it worked out. So, big shout out to all the people that voted, the community members and players. There's definitely a mix, and including you guys especially. Shout out to you guys. So there you go. So there's the top 10 teams. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little segment there. Now to move on, though, I think it is time to move on to some DreamHack discussion. Got about 20 minutes or so to talk about, obviously, what happened in DreamHack and things that may have stood out to us and results that happened from it in general. This is our first podcast that we've really been able to do since that event finished, so I guess I want to take some time at least to go over it, of course. So we'll start with the Oceanic region, the one that really wasn't too crazy in the end, and I think goes without saying, and you know, expected as well. Frenetic Array, indeed, they were the victors of the DreamHack Oceanic region tournament. As you can see here, they did end up winning that final match against Team One Day, who was, you know, they were a fairly good team, but I'll tell you, I mean, the Oceanic region, and when we interviewed both Slicks and Watalaba from Frey during that event, they both made points that it is a little bit disappointing, you know, the skill level of a lot of the Oceanic teams. It definitely isn't up there as high as they would like it to see, and I agree, you know. It is kind of unfortunate, but, you know, in due time, maybe after an event like this, and with Frey being successful yet again, maybe that will entice more teams to start stepping up, but Frey is just completely on a league of their own when it comes to this region, so, and that clearly showed in this match. So, Ziori, I mean, what was your take about the Oceanic region?
I mean, you summed it up pretty well, Breaky CPK. I forget their names now. The team that made it to the grand finals, and then like the top 4 teams, they were all pretty good. I mean, for being Oceanic teams, we were both pretty impressed with those teams, but they're just not on the same level as Frey. I mean, it was pretty obvious casting those games that it just Frey is on that upper echelon in the world, let alone for that region. So one thing I did learn, though, is that there are a few other teams in the Oceanic region that are definitely pretty good. I mean, they're good. They're solid. They played well. I don't know what you want me to say here, man. Frey won. GG no re.
Well, that's where maybe we have to be a little bit careful that Frey is freaking good. I mean, they are really good.
They're a world-class team. Yeah. Literally, they are top 3 in the world. Is that fair to say? You know, top 4 in the world.
They're second place, close to first in our top 10. Yeah, there you go. So.
Well, I mean, it's skewed in favor of North America.
That's your opinion.
That's just your opinion, man.
Yeah, it's just like your opinion. But, you know, I mean, it's not a true worldwide list. I mean, how many Koreans voted in this? You know what I mean? So it's they're just Frey's really good.
How many Korean teams are there?
My point is there aren't any. My point is that this is just it's skewed in favor of North Americans and Europeans. And,
Shinx did vote in this.
All right, skewed in favor of the international client. Let's put it that way.
Well, Shinx is
very true.
But yeah, I don't know. There weren't too many upsets. That was the one region where it was pretty clear Frey was the favorite, and they came out ahead. No big surprise. Great to see. I mean, certainly deserving. They're a very good team. And, we mentioned during the tournament as well, Breaky, for that region, that's a really big deal. That's an expensive flight from Australia to Sweden. So that's a big deal. To have that all-expenses trip paid from New Zealand, Australia, that's a really big deal, and Frey is definitely deserving. So I'm really glad there is at least one tip-top world-class team from that region. I think that's really cool. So
they are going with Bobo as well, to reiterate that, because, 4 out of 5 players have to be from the region. So they were going with Bobo, and Leon Black is going to be the North American player instead of Riser. Riser is still a part of Frey. I can't stress that enough. He is still actually on Frey. He just isn't going to be playing with them at the DreamHack event because of the rules. So, Ken, you have any extra thoughts there on the Oceanic region?
No, pretty much said it. I don't know. I really don't have anything else to say. I mean, I thought Frey was going to win. They won, and it is a little unfortunate that the rest of the competition wasn't up to par. But
practice makes perfect.
They have a great role model for sure to look up to.
Yeah, that they do. They got the big brother doing work for all them. So
Papa Ken.
Yeah, I guess that's ultimately where it comes from. Like, I personally was just really intrigued by what are we going to see out of this region. This is a big event, so much is on the line, and really didn't see a whole lot, unfortunately, other than Frey, of course. So.
I will say, I did really enjoy interviewing Slicks, because I've tried to interview him a few times and absolutely refused because he's too shy. So I was really excited to interview him, and I was really shocked to see how
bored he was,
calm and collected.
Yeah, we just won a trip to DreamHack. It's cool, I guess.
Like, cool,
whatever.
Calm, collected, tall, dark, and handsome, just like, yes, we won. We're taking every game seriously.
You got a bro crush on him, it sounds like. You a big fan of Slicks? I got a bro crush on Trixie.
I mean, he's pretty freaking good, man. He's not afraid to go for it.
Yeah.
Picking up that Frostburn, throwing us for a loop, I like it. I'm a big fan.
He's a great player. A lot of fun to watch, so. Going to be seeing him at DreamHack Summer, of course. All right, so North America, the next region, obviously, as you can see here, and probably as you know by now, Trademark Esports, they were victorious. Now, obviously, Fun in the Sun Gaming, they were more of the story of this tournament, I think it's kind of safe to say, because of who they ended up being. Obviously, as you mentioned earlier, when you talk about the top 10 list, they played Vitriolic in the second round, and Vitriolic got stomped by these guys. So we brought up these questions like, who are these guys? And sure enough, we found out it was Korok, Enzo, Painted Gold, Toronto, and Grand Grant, all on Smurf accounts. As you can see, Juan Pablo, Sour Sucker, Eisenhart, Weed Snorter, and Juan Pedro. Clever names. Yeah, that was a great interview, mind you. That definitely set up for an excellent finals as well. By the way, it was a lot of fun. But Trademark Esports did end up defeating Fun of the Sun Games actually 3-0 in the grand finals, and really did make quick work of them. But Bren had some success in this event, and so did Exclamation Point. We got to see them come onto the scene and definitely making a little bit of an impact, and so that was cool. But yeah, I think Fun in the Sun Game, though, they were kind of the newsworthy story of this North American region. What about you, Zuri?
I mean, I agree. It was pretty cool. It was exciting. Right when it was like, I remember, right? In between games, you were like, all right, listen, man, we've got some Smurfs here. And when you told me, I was like, that's actually pretty cool. That someone, this team went through that whole motion of keeping it quiet and practicing and getting back into it. But after I heard about that Vitriolic thing, I was like, you know what? I'm having trouble respecting this a little bit. Because, I mean, obviously I like the Vitriolic guys, so it ended up making a fun story. A little bit of rivalry with that interview, and then Moon Meander saying on stream that whatever they were going to stomp him and all that stuff. So that did make it a little more exciting. But I don't know. It just is. It was cool, but I'm glad it's over.
Trash talk is always good, but maybe to get a little bit overboard with those two. But it's at the same time, it does help. provide
cool.
entertaining match
It was
going into it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see. But yeah, TDM again, they too proved, and that ever since we found out about Fun in the Sun gaming, everyone's like, oh crap, TDM versus Fun in the Sun, that's going to be a great finals. Yeah. TDM showed that they are. There's a reason why they're considered the best team in the world as we saw by the rankings there. So made pretty easy work of them. What about you, Ken? What about the North American region?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was the story, but I mean, I was glad to see some of the other teams, play pretty well up to the end there. I mean, in the end, it was kind of all about that whole thing, and I really liked the whole drama between the two teams. It was interesting to watch. The Moon Meander interview was special at the end of that tournament. It was special.
Dimitri interview, you mean?
Dimitri, yeah, that's true. Meander was not. He was celebrating in the other room. Dimitri had to take over. But I actually, like, to be really honest, I really enjoyed that interview from Moon, just because I felt like after the shenanigans was over, he actually put out a lot of really good information about how the tournament went and what their thought process was in the tournament. I thought that was really cool, and I'm really excited to see how Moon works out in Sweden as well. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I will say one funny note about that Moon Meander interview. My grandparents were visiting from out of state, from California, from my graduation, and they were watching some of that stream, checking out, what's our grandson up to? And they actually watched that Moon Meander interview, and they did not get it. They did not get it at all. I actually had to have a talk with my grandparents about who was that young Asian man that kept yelling. And I had to try and explain it, and they just
Don't try.
Gave up.
Yeah, there's no point. How could you explain that? No, it is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, not only seeing him, but TDM as a whole. At the event. So, yeah, can't wait for that. And then, of course, that leads us into the European region, though. Let me actually pull it up right here. So the European region, that's where going into it. Safe to say, that's where we expected to have really a lot of the great matchups, and the unknown really was of what team we're actually going to see win it all. And unfortunately, the brackets actually didn't end up getting all the way updated. But pulling up a screen right here, and ended up being anyway. So Black Fate, of course, they ended up being the European champions. And as a result, they're going to be going to DreamHack Summer 2012, representing the European region. And very deserving of it. They definitely a very powerful run through this event. They did not have an easy road. And you could even argue, if you go all the way back to the beginning of this event, they had one of the tougher roads right from the beginning, if not the toughest. So they actually had to play Tease Masters in the third round, and that was really one of the only third-round matchups where it was actually two solid teams. Tease Masters is actually a team of pretty solid players. So that was before the double elimination even started. So yeah, that was kind of early on for them. And then after that, Deserto, you see Sweetenzauer, which definitely made a run, and then It's Gosu, and then eventually Coming Soon, which they defeated twice, also known as SGTY, obviously. So they had a hell of a run. They only lost one game total, and that was to Team It's Gosu, where they beat them two games to one. So Black Fate's going to be a team to look out for. But the big question is, they are a lot of their players, most of their players, if not all of them, I believe, are even new to this really whole experience of a LAN environment, and we talk about that all the time, what that means. So they will be at a disadvantage compared to the other teams, though, in that sense.
For sure. That was the one grand finals where I was very, very disappointed to see that be a quick 3-0. I really thought that was going to be a long ace match series. And that was where, on my list I had SGTY at 5. And I kind of thought about that for a little bit. Black Fade, for me, that was that deciding factor of, okay, Black Fade's been playing really well. They're really looking solid. And that victory, taking that series, up 1-0 and then winning the first two games going straight through, that was when I was like, Black Fade gets it, man. They've been practicing. Since they started, they haven't really had too many roster changes, if any. They get this shit, man. They're here to stay. They came to win, and look out, because they are. I had a little bit of an epiphany about Black Fade after that.
I do too. Very much high respect for them, and I'm sure a lot of fan base grew after that event. So, Ken, what are your thoughts on Black Fade in the European region?
I thought the European region was really awesome. I mean, there was just like You didn't really realize it. There was kind of like a lot of really good teams in the European region. You're like, oh wow, there's like, I mean, there's at least the top 10 or so, top 8 or top 10 were like really solid, strong teams, and it was really impressive to see Black Fate rise above all of them in such a dominant way. I mean, they were just really, really, really strong the entire time. So, like I said before about Black Fate, they're one of those kind of meteoric. They're really on the way up type of teams, and I don't think we've seen them hit their peak yet, which is really good for them. I've said in the past that, like, there was a long time where it was like, well, there's that Black Fate team, we'll see how good they end up being. They've got a ways to go, that type of thing, and they've made that journey. They've now hit that place where they are going, and it's really impressive.
Yeah,
that's all. I mean, I'm just excited. The great thing about the fact that the European region was the best qualifier is that DreamHack's in Europe, so most of those teams
last I checked, yeah,
will come to the BYOC, and we'll have a really good BYOC event as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams. Great point to bring up. I know A-Man, SGTY, Port, Team Gosu, Cat Lemain's team.
K.
BX3
will be there.
BX3. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that BYOC event, man. I mean,
that's like
we're not going to be able to cover it,
but
BYOC. Yeah, that's not easy, but yeah.
Interesting. That BYOC might be harder than the BYOC in winter, and the BYOC in winter was brutal.
Pretty tough as well, yeah. But I think you're right. I mean, I definitely think you're right. Actually, it's the teams live up more so.
Yeah, the other thing about Black Fade that I just want to say about that final series, I actually looked at one of those games on I think the first game on a breakdown, and they had a plan. They didn't just come in like, let's just draft something. I mean, they had a plan. They wanted a really aggressive, quick win for that first game to be up 2-0, and they executed. Something about that demeanor, to have a plan coming into it, knowing that they all sat down around the table and said, all right, guys, what are we going to do here? We got a big match coming up. What can we do? Come up with a plan, then execute the plan. That shows maturity, man, and I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said though, the big thing for me is that experience, the lack of experience. How much of an impact is that going to have at the DreamHack event? So great team, and at least they've been saying, I'm sure they will be. They'll be prepared going into that event, but will they be able to? It's a lot of work. It's from the side of it, it's like, I got to play Han all day. That's awesome. When you're playing a tournament like they're going to be playing, competing for so much money, and the grind of it, it can get exhausting mentally and physically. So
carpal tunnel, man, it's a bitch.
You also have to deal with the atmosphere around you. So yeah, it can be a bitch indeed. But they definitely have the talent for it, as they've been showing these recent weeks, especially. So, all right. So those are the three, I guess you can even call them main regions, but of course there were two other qualifying events. Now, if you aren't aware by now, Southeast Asia is going to be sending 2 teams. Originally, it was only going to be 1 team, and then Korea was going to be sending 1 team, but Korea ended up having to drop out actually because for whatever reason, I don't even really know. But instead of that, though, we decided to send a second Southeast Asian team. So. In that case, it's actually going to be, obviously, the winner of the event, as we talked about earlier, Orange Esports Malaysia. They ended up winning it all. They'll be representing Southeast Asia as one of the teams. The other team is going to be, they were known as 2000 MMR in the event, but I believe now they're known as MUFC TT Esports. They actually picked up a sponsorship, maybe as a result of winning this or whatever. But so those are going to be the 2 teams that are representing the Southeast Asian region at DreamHack.
Sorry, out of pure curiosity, why did SCA get 2 teams over all the other regions, especially Europe?
Not my decision, but
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm not saying bad. I'm just
I think ultimately, okay, this has also been something I've kept on addressing as well. For people that from the very beginning they're saying Europe only gets 1 team. Okay, no. First off,
Phil
Europe
says, bring me on.
Europe has 3 teams. Okay, you know what? It probably is a good time to bring him on. With that said, but.
Phil's about to smack me with some
Phil's about to be like, listen, idiot, this is how it works.
I'm pretty sure last podcast he did the exact same thing when I complained about Korea. I'm ready.
All right, I guess we can hear. Let me go ahead and
I don't know what a Rudy Poo is, though.
Here, I'll add him to call if you want to bring him on here. If you want to call him.
Yeah, I have to. Wait.
But, okay, there you go. Yeah, look at that. It's set up perfectly on the fly.
My call. Hi, Phil.
got
Hello,
Skype
Phil.
on for some reason. Hold on.
You
Oh,
got
not Skype.
Skype.
XSplit.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a good thing.
XSplit.
See the XSplit right there. But what I was gonna say is, it's actually 3 European teams. Obviously, Black Fade, and then Fnatic, if they're European, and then the BYLC team is going to be European as well. So, yes, Europe is a great region, but a lot of people underestimate and undervalue what Southeast Asian has been doing over these last 5-6 months. They have more concurrent players at times lately than the international scene. I mean, they hit a peak of 70,000 by themselves, I think, which is, I want to say, even higher than internationals even reached by itself, if not very, very close. So, why not get 2 teams from there?
No, I'm playing devil's advocate.
I don't know. I understand, and that's it is a good thing to bring in. And that's actually good that we're having Phil on, so maybe he can explain or give the reasoning for.
Oh, there he is.
For that. There's beautiful Phil to throw.
Look at that navy blue.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing
Can you hear me?
terrific. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now. So, obviously we have you on now a little bit earlier than expected, but we were talking about the Southeast Asian regions. You already brought up a good question. You have an answer for us, perhaps, on why there's going to be 2 Southeast Asian teams?
Well, basically, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at the players online at any given time. Like right now, obviously, you look at it in Southeast Asia, it's only at 7,000 players, but they did just patch, and it is, of course, the middle of the night for them or some other weird time. But, they've been hitting upwards of 65,000 concurrent users in Southeast Asia alone. So having just one team to represent an entire region who is clearly outgrowing and, the international scene, like, this tournament was never meant to be the best teams in the world for Heroes of New Earth. It's about to be the best teams from around the world for Heroes of New Earth. And that's always been the goal of the event. Yes, we are going to have some of the best teams in the world. I mean, we've talked about Trademark and Black Fade, and I want to make a note about Black Fade, by the way. And it's really nice to see a couple of guys like Insania and Keizu who've made their way from being kind of like in-house type of people, similar to what we saw with like Peter Pan Dam, who TKO, who kind of climbed through the scene. But these guys are the real deal, and teamed up with some pretty strong players. It's great to see them come on here. And Les QQ, I just want to say it is so great that he is finally very similar to Haxerin in my opinion, where it took him a while to kind of find that really good team to set up with. Yeah. And this seems to be a perfect example for him. I mean, Les QQ, he's played with some great teams in the past himself. I believe he spent a short amount of time with INFS, and I remember all the way back in the days of, like, LAO, Lanes Are Obvious, and that's been, almost 2 years ago now, playing with people like Slund and Caution and them. So, he's definitely been in the scene for a long, long time. It's great to see him finally find a good team. But
isn't he the one that's only, like, 14? How long has he been playing?
No, that's Imzai is 14.
Imzai, oh, my bad.
Right.
Sorry about
that.
So say, how long has this guy been playing Han?
That's 9 years old.
Like 8-year-old, just like tearing up the competitive scene. Like Jesus.
That's some prodigies.
It's a prodigy.
Yeah. No, but like I said, it's great to see him finally meet up with a really nice team and have a lot of good synergy. So, But to answer your question, that's why we decided to have them, or to give them a second slot, is because like we want to have that representation, a second SCA team, and again, this event is about bringing the community together, not just about like having a super badass Han tournament. Is it going to be a super badass Han tournament? Hell yeah, it is. Of course it is. And everything down to, as you guys were just talking about, the BYOC, it's going to be brutal and it's going to be amazing. But it's also important to us that we try to bring the communities together, that we let the Southeast Asian and CIS clients know that even though they're no longer part of the international client, that they're still part of Heroes of New Earth and the community that we all care about.
That's very cool. So what happened to Korea? Is their client actually officially launched right now?
No, that's why. It's because they are still in closed beta, and without being able to be widespread to to all the Koreans and giving them all the opportunity to, have time to practice and play and form good, legitimate teams. I mean, sure, they could have probably cherry-picked some team and been like maybe they have like a top Dota 2 team or something like that over there who they're really impressed with, I think would do really well in Heroes of New Earth. But Koreans, more than probably most other people, are very, very proud of their heritage. And when it comes to esports, esports has been a huge part of Korean culture for a long time. So I can completely understand why they would not want to send a team if they don't think that their team, has a good chance to win or is, kind of a lock to win. And it's kind of similar to how the Chinese were with Dota 1, where they played on some like these online tournaments and then suddenly pulled everybody out because like they were losing online. And a lot of it was due to latency. So they were like, okay, we don't want to have to deal with like latency stuff. We don't want anybody to ever like look at what we're doing and be like, oh, these Chinese teams are bad. Like they're very proud culture. So
from everything I've seen in the StarCraft 2 scene, I think you're exactly right, Phil. They're definitely, that's what
I love this comment. Basically, we want to enjoy the game before Koreans take over the competitive scene.
They go big or they go home.
Possible, I guess. But yeah, it's funny. But that's definitely some good points. So, any more questions, Jordan? Actually,
it's that pride factor, Break. You're all about the
pride factor, exactly.
Sure
it definitely makes sense, and I can see that. So it's unfortunate, with the loss, but I do like I am looking forward to seeing another Southeast Asian team. Such as 2000 MMR, now known as MUFC TT Esports. They were the runner-ups in the qualifiers. And again, they're going to be coming alongside Orange Esports. So now we get two Southeast Asian teams to see what they're going to bring to the table against the international scene. So
I could say that having spoken to people like Shinx and WTF, who are both very much ingrained in the esports world in general, but WTF has definitely even played with some of the teams that are over there. I believe he actually has a Malaysian citizenship, kind of similar to what Boone is, but he's living in Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's what I've heard. But I do know that he's played with some of those teams over there, and that they have access to the Garena client. And I mean, from what they've been telling me, they're saying don't underestimate these Southeast Asian teams because they are the real deal. And while they haven't, maybe they haven't had like the opportunity to compete against Trademark and Frey and Black Fade and Fnatic on a constant or consistent basis like a lot of these other top teams have, but the thing is you never know when you don't know anything about like what you're up against. You never know what you're going to be up against. So I know that sounds like it's pretty common sense, but I'd be surprised if I would not be surprised to see at least one of these SEA teams in the top 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's just me saying, like, that's just me speculating. I don't know it. I know just about as much about the Southeast Asian teams as probably anybody else does.
Yeah.
Orange Esports, I mean, I've seen them compete in a few of the tournaments. Saw them compete in that early It's Goes To tournament back in February where they made it into the Invitational, and then I believe they got slaughtered by Trademark early on. But the point is that they're still a good team, and if you're looking to have the top 8 teams at DreamHack, I could definitely see a case for Orange Esports being one of those top 8 teams.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah,
I only have one follow-up question. Phil, where was Orange Esports on your top 10?
They were at...
I believe you put them 9, from what I saw.
I believe they were at number 9.
Yeah.
Right, had them at number 9. And that's only because I had Soon Tour on there, and they're gone, so they've default moved to number 8. No big deal.
NVD. Right. Moving on, so one more team we haven't actually gotten to yet is, of course, the last region, CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States. We like to refer to kind of the Russian region, but so the CIS region there, and I'll pull it up right here. This was actually their tournament for it. They had 8 teams in this event playing a round-robin format where each team played each other once, and whoever came out on top, were going to be the team. And actually, as you see here, Team GA ended up being victorious. I actually don't know what it stands for. I don't actually know the team. I don't know if anyone here, maybe Phil, if you've learned a little bit more about this team, but...
I know the names of their 5 players. That's okay. That's what I know.
Anything recognizable? Probably not. Any Faye V in there?
No Savvy, no
Scandal?
No Unique Phaser. I don't see any of those guys in there. I mean, not to say that's not them. I mean, maybe they changed their name when they went to CIS Client. But
True.
The guys' names are Censor, Rage, Hissy Fit, Bloody Horror, Z Metal, and Z Water.
They sound pretty badass.
They do sound
badass.
I'm scared now.
I don't know anything about the team. I did watch a few of their matches on. Like, they casted all the matches live, and if you go back, you can look on the own3d.tv site. I don't know what the actual URL for it is, but...
You mean you don't have that 4-digit number memorized, Phil?
I hate... Well, okay, I should say I hate own TV. I dislike how, like, a majority of the streams are just, like, /live/1864139, and you're like, why isn't it just like /Honcast or whatever it is? So, but let me look it up real quick. Okay, so it's own3d.tv/GarinaRU is the actual link, and you can click. I believe that you have to click on like Han at the bottom. Garena Han G Series tournaments, and then
complicated.
Yeah, I know. And then you'll see, like, you can see all the finals if you go through there. So like, there's an interview with the winners from Team GA, but it just says Team GA. You know, there's nothing on
now
there
at OfficeDepot.com. This Lenovo laptop.
You know, but the finals were between Cats and Team GA, which most people who are involved with the CIS scene or have talked to anyone from Cats expected Cats to be the winning team because, according to them, they had not lost like one of the tournaments in CIS ever.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and it's funny because GA, the only team they lost to was Cats in the actual round robin.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. How
Right.
Cats, they lost 3 other matches though, and that's their fault, of course. So they beat the team that they needed to beat, but they lost 3 others. That does make me wonder a little bit more if GA is maybe a couple Smurfs, and it's hard to say Smurfs, I guess, but God, I would love to see it all of a sudden be like, hey, yeah, I'm Scandal, by the way, or like, hey, I'm Fabi.
Yeah,
it's just like, what? Where did this come from? But
no, I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? You know, it's a scene that we know even less about, you know, compared to SEA, and that's saying a lot because there's not a lot of cross-communication between the SEA teams and the international client.
by the way, check out some of those casts, guys. Phil and I were actually watching the other.
So good.
He is good. I have no fucking clue what he's saying, but he made it so entertaining, anyways. Like when fights would happen, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So. You would understand Polywog Freeze, yeah. Check it out. I would pull it up for you, but apparently loud commercials like to play instead. So, but yeah, give some love to those guys, who I believe are going to be casting the DreamHack event in Russian. Not obviously from there, but they're going to be doing it online and for their crowd. So for anyone that cares, but yeah. So
I want to meet some Russian casters.
GA is the big question mark, though. Like the Southeast Asian teams are one thing. You know, we have some people that are like, yeah, we know those guys. Who are these guys? I mean, what are they going to do, and what strats are they going to pull out? I don't know. They're completely unknown. So either they'll surprise us all, or you know, maybe we'll see. Maybe not able to compete too well, but who knows? Going to be fun. On that note, I think it might be schedule time.
Is it? Is Phil going to hang out with us for a while we do it?
Yeah, of course.
Or is he going to go away and come back?
No, he'll hang out with us.
All right, cool. I'm glad.
He doesn't
I
have
don't get much Phil time.
He doesn't have anything else to do.
Phil time? I get very little Phil time.
I get Phil time every day.
Every day I'm feeling... No, that's just weird. All right, I got this cup right here. Here, people might remember this from the King of the Hill event that we used to do, and sadly we don't anymore. But just on a side note. But yeah, so this is our gauntlet here. I don't even know what the hell it's even really for. We'll just call this the Han Chalice.
The Han Tour. I told you last time. It's
that's
the
right.
Han Tour first place prize. You get a golden chalice.
You only get one, by the way. You don't get 5. It's just one.
No, the team doesn't get one. Just we send it to the captain, and they can like pass it around to their teammates or something like that on their own time.
On their own. Oh, don't joke about that. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, this is the Han Chalice, Han competitive chalice. What I have in here are the 7 teams. Obviously, BYLC team, as you can see on the schedule, that's already been filled in. They are going to be playing in a set time because that's how they has to work. Because the BYLC tournament, correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, but the BYLC tournament is going to be on the first day, happening while the main event's happening. Correct?
Yes.
And then it's going to wrap up by the end of that day.
Right.
So that's the idea.
So the BYOC will begin promptly at 1600, just like the group play will on the first day. Let me double check something real quick. I just want to make sure I don't say anything wrong.
This would be the time to make sure.
Right.
We got thousands.
But I'm pretty sure that it's scheduled for a group of 60 up to 64 teams.
Okay.
It might be 32. I'm not sure because I can't look at it right now. Hold on. I'm doing the math real quick. Okay. So it is scheduled for up to 64 teams.
I was gonna say, hopefully it is.
And they will that will go from allowing 1 hour per match starting at 1600. That will go to 2200. Where the top 2 teams will be in the best of 3, and then we've allotted, basically 2 hours, 2.5 hours for the matches for the best of 3 to go down, and then that one team will immediately go into the group stage where they'll have to play against Team G.
Team. Yeah, it should be. Wait, why is it not showing up on this?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I gave this. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. It's in the right-hand column in the white. At 0000, it's Team C versus BYOC.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So basically, the team that wins BYOC, wow, you have
have fun.
Yes, this is
you
going
have
to
a day.
Right. You're going to be running the gauntlet for sure. But that's the benefit of being an invited team and the penalty to not having qualified. You are going to have to run the gauntlet like everybody, or like any other BYOC team would, and then you're going to come out and play all of your group stage matches in a row. Fortunately, I was still able to work it out to where that BYOC team will still get about 8 hours of sleep of rest between their last game and their first game.
Thank God.
So trying to be as helpful as possible with time and stuff like that.
That's it. Welcome to DreamHack, man. Welcome to DreamHack. Obviously, it's a 2-day event, as you saw. Normally, it's been 3 days in the past. Is there a reason for why it's 2 days this time around as well? Phil? Is there a reason why it's only 2 days this time around?
Well, it's kind of like when we talked to DreamHack about doing the schedule, the first day was so packed. And the time that they had allotted to us was 10 a.m. or 10 a.m., which is when it actually officially opens, right, the arena. Mm-hmm. The thing is doing a match at 10 a.m.
On the third day, on the final day.
Takes away,
it's on the third
definitely.
day. Everybody, yes, you do get some rest and you get to come out there maybe a little bit refreshed, but it's really poor coverage time. At 10 a.m. in European time, I mean, most, it's 10 a.m.,
3 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Right, and it's just really, really poor. It's 4 a.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah, anyway, we decided to have it on the second day because we weren't going to be able to hold any more matches anyway if we did it on the third day. But at least on the second day, you'll get to go out from, everybody's warmed up, everybody's been competing for a while, and you get to jump into it, and, it's midnight in Sweden, so people are going to have a chance to, go out there and, or in Sweden at midnight, people can still be there to watch the grand finals, but in North America, it's actually a pretty decent time for us as well. We're, at 6 p.m. or 3 p.m. over here. it's still pretty decent. Pretty
Gotcha.
decent time to watch a game.
It's going to be a grind for old teams, and BYC especially, but definitely old teams as well. So,
Well, yeah.
all right, though. I think it is time. Again, the reason why I have this and these 7 team names in here, besides the BYOC, pulling back up the schedule. So we're going to go in order. So we'll start with Team A. Whichever team I select right here, they'll be Team A. And Mr. Murray, who should be listening in and be ready to update the schedule as we go along. But so
hold on, Murray.
Oh, he's not even. That's right. He's in that room. He's supposed to be.
Right. He's over there.
Okay.
We're getting ready.
Get his ass over here. So yeah, this isn't. It's again. This is all one group, by the way. This isn't 2 groups. It's kind of unfortunate. You know, we're not drafting to see which group's going to be the stronger group, whatever. But at the same time, the cool thing about this is that we'll get an idea now of when teams are going to be playing at exactly what time, or the scheduled time at least, and who they're going to be playing at what time. So this will also, and eventually, the plan is, you know, once we find out these matchups, we're going to give you a chance, the community, a chance to vote on specific ones where maybe it's a tough call on who we want to cover. Will allow you, the community, to vote for it. So, you know, we're going to have fun with that. Anyway, so here we go. Without further ado, let's go ahead and look to select our Team A. So let me adjust that real quickly. So Team A going to be here. Going to got all 7 teams. My chalice. I'm not cheating, I promise. That really matters. Okay, so here we go.
Not that it matters.
Not that it matters. No, it does. Fnatic Recall, going to be Team A, as you can see there. So I love our beautiful name tags, by the way. So Fnatic Recall, they are going to be Team A. So obviously it's not going to be updated yet. But what that means, again, so they are going to be kicking it off first. And so they'll be in that Team A spot. So
Are we picking Team B right now?
we are going to go on to Team B now.
You know, just written a program in like 15 seconds to do this.
Maybe figured it out. This is suspenseful,
No,
though.
the chalice is
This
more
is
fun.
suspenseful. Look at this. Look at the chalice. Oh boy. Okay, Team B. Team B is going to be
I have 2 in mind. I really hope for.
MUFC TT Esports. So one of the Southeast Asian teams. They're going to be the B spot. There you go. As I think Murray was signaling to me. So there you go.
Somebody was pumped up.
Yeah, that's not updated yet. But anyways, so MUFC TT Esports, they're going to be the B spot. So that means Fnatic will be playing MUFC in that first spot right there. So that's going to be our one of our 2 kickoff matches, which again, we're only going to be able to cover 1 each of those times, but we'll see who it is. So there you go. All right, here we go for our third, or Team C. I'm getting confused here. Hey, Phil, you want to come over here and help?
Yeah.
Draw for me. Here we go. Blackfate.org. They're going to be Team C. So there you go. They're going to be one of the first teams playing. As you see right there. Again, still not updated, but on the fly. Blackfate.org are going to be C. Now, who will Team C be playing? Here we go. Team A is Fnatic. Fnatic, MUFC's B, and then Blackfade is C. Hold on. Make sure.
Okay, so Blackfade.
There you go. You're going to be on the shot there.
Let me go over the other side.
Okay, go on the other side. Hold on. We got to make this epic.
All right.
Careful, boys.
Oh, this is too much. Team D is.
Orange Esports Malaysia.
We're going to get it kicked off with 2 Southeast Asian teams going to be playing in the first set of matches there. So that's cool. So Orange Esports Malaysia, Team D. Again, just for just to make the
Ken
point
and I are
right
just
there.
here to look pretty.
Yeah,
It's all
you
good.
Pretty
guys,
much.
you're
I'm just
doing a
sitting
good
here.
job.
I'm just a spectator. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, what's next?
Okay.
Sometimes it's fun to be a spectator.
So what do we got next? Team, that would be Team Team E.
So now wait. Go
Okay.
back to the thing. So that means that right after Team A plays Team B, that means that Fnatic play Blackfade at 1700. So,
correct.
And then also the 2 Southeast Asian teams play each other at the same
I
time.
promise you, we're gonna have this filled out as soon as we're done. And we'll, instead
my
of
point being,
no, but
my
you're
point
right.
being,
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
that is
The 2
cool.
Southeast
Yeah.
Asian teams play each other, and we have the reigning champion playing the European champion at like the second match of the day.
So now we're going to get into which teams, you know, have a little bit. They don't start right away. Of course, Team E going to be the next one in line. So here we go. We'll see who Team E is going to be. As oh, it's my turn? No, it's your turn still. Okay, my turn. Okay, this will be epic. Get some assistance here. Lovely assistant. This is Trademark Esports. Trademark Esports getting a little bit of a break to start things off, but they will be in the E spot, so congratulations to them. I guess. So as you see here, though, they're going to be playing at 1800 to kick it off. So against Team F, this is going to be Team F here. I'll hold it now. We'll do it this way. I'll shake it up. Hold on. I'll shake it up. Shake it up. There's only 2 left. That's right. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Which is going to be? Seems to have left Frey, I guess.
No one! Oh, wait.
No, it's right there. It's going to be GA. Okay. No one. Nice. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be GA. No one. That means Frenetic Array is F or something.
Is
no,
G.
it's G, yeah. So Frenetic Array, they will be the G spot. So
Yep.
I just said that.
Whoa. Frankie, look at you.
All right, so let's see. We'll have Frey playing. So we'll have Frey playing one of the Southeast Asian teams at 1800, which is cool. That Team D's got a busy first couple hours there.
I'm sorry.
Which team, Xander? D?
Yeah, Team D.
Damn, they
That's
do.
that's orange. Okay, can you, come back
I'm sorry.
from this?
Are we gonna settle?
I am settled.
Gotta simmer down now.
Had a moment there.
Because my contact's gonna fall out.
Had a moment. Okay. Whew. All right. So, what is Mike? Is Mike updating it? By the way, I'm checking Phil to see if is he actually updating it. Phil.
Why did you update?
Okay.
He just finished. He said he did it too fast.
I did it too fast. Okay, here I'll type it to him. I'll type it to him. I finished. Okay. 1 sec. So hold on. Who was Team A? Team A was Fnatic, right? Yeah, Fnatic. Team B was MUFC. Team C. Who was Team C? Orange Esports.
No,
No?
C is Black Fade.
Black Fade. That's right. Good call. Good
D
thing we
is
have this
orange.
recorded. Team D equals orange. Team E was
Trademark.
Trademark.
Big trademark.
So Trademark is the team that gets to see the Russians
Team
first.
F was GA. Yeah, that is true.
They are the least prepared for the Russian onslaught.
Okay, so Frey, there we go. Okay, so I typed it to him so we can get this updated and then get a better idea of what's going on as. Holy crap, let me change that back once again. Whew, there we go. So, yeah, that's... Once we actually have that filled out, it'll be a lot easier to look at and get an idea of what a matchup's really exciting. And did Phil just DC? Or did he log off? Are you guys there? My sound just cut out.
There we go.
That was my
Yes,
bad.
it is.
Yeah, what the
That was
heck?
my bad. Totally hosting the call, and I've got a couple Skype groups with like 15,000 messages I'm not caught up on, and every time I click on one, Skype just poops
Boom.
for a few minutes. So.
Boom!
My bad, guys. A total misclick. I'm sorry.
Magic!
My
Magic!
bad.
Thanks, Mike.
Fury.
So as you see right there, okay, Mike was able to update it, so appreciate, big shout out to him. So here you go. This is these are how the matches are going to look.
ORGE, but
Ogre. God damn it. Whatever. That is Orange Esports. Ogre. Ogre Esports Malaysia. Okay, it's Team D. Orange.
now.
Okay, let me hopefully
Now
you can
the
fix that,
interesting ones here. Interesting ones here. You've got, of course, Fnatic versus Black Fade at 17. Then at 1900, you've got Black Fade versus TDM, which is another awesome matchup. And then you've got where's that awesome one that I was hoping for? There's Frey versus Black Fade at 22. Fnatic versus Frey.
That's
the
a
one I'm
big
looking
one,
for.
yeah.
23. Nice, good time.
That's good.
For
Midnight,
everybody.
North American, Australians.
Yeah.
It'll be bright and early.
Exactly. Log in, watch them Frenetic Array players play against the team that they lost to last winter.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty awesome. So that's going to be a really, really fantastic matchup.
So,
and then Fnatic TDM to close out the night. So.
Oh, wow, yeah. That is cool.
We're going to end on a Fnatic TDM. I mean, that's like...
That worked out good. Worked out pretty good, I must say.
Now, the other interesting thing is that you have Blackfade playing against the BYOC the first. So BYOC versus Blackfade is first, which means that the BYOC, that is going to be the time that they can set their run. Mm-hmm. Of course, coming out of a BYOC event, you're going to have a lot of momentum because you just won the BYOC. You're coming out, you're on a high because you just made it out of that bracket. I mean, you might be a little bit tired, but that you're going to be really warmed up after all that playing. Blackfade, will have been playing for most of the day as well, but I think that the BYOC team is gonna look to get an upset there. If they get an upset there, everyone else is going to be on edge playing against the BYOC team. But if they take a loss there, they're going to be playing against MUFC in the next match, and that's going to be a great matchup for them.
Yeah. Whoa, Phil, what the fuck?
Hold on.
It's much better
Whoa.
now.
What all of us think? Wait, does Frey play orange twice? Is that actually?
I was just scanning for the same thing.
I don't
I'm not
see
seeing
that.
it
Oh, they do play them at the last time on day 2 as well. Okay, that's a mix-up. That obviously shouldn't be the case.
oh man,
Yeah.
This just got confused.
I think that's on our side. So that I believe.
Look at the original.
I don't have the original. He changed.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
Ah,
Anyway,
jeez. Well, this will
so
be
the other interesting thing
place.
is that, assuming the BYOC team doesn't go freaking undefeated and wipe out everybody, if they're gonna want to, if the BYOC team does well, say, and is on the brink of getting in to the final set of matches, their last game is against Trademark Esports. So have fun with that.
BYLC is going to suck for them. No, it's going to be a great event, but it's going to suck for them.
It's going to suck for them, for sure. But let's say TDM doesn't do quite as well as they imagined, and they're on the cusp as well, and so is the BYOC team. That matchup is going to be crazy.
If a BYOC team makes a top 4, I mean, that in itself will be so impressive. Which, by the way, real quickly on the format, for those, again, that are kind of maybe unsure, all 8 teams are in the same group, so as you saw right there, they play each other once, best out of 1, and then the top 4 teams at the end of that first part of the event will move on to the semifinals, where they will play best out of 3 series, single elimination semifinals, 1 versus 4 seed, 2 versus 3, and then of course the grand finals, where best of 3 as well. So that's kind of how it works out, for those that are curious about that, but. Yeah, I mean, this is, it's awesome. And again, we don't know yet. We'll definitely go through and we'll, because as well as something you do have to keep in mind, obviously, from a coverage standpoint, we're going to be covering every single hour. I mean, coverage is going to be happening all day. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 matches on the first day.
We basically made it so that there's upwards of 24 hours of casting. I think we decided the minimum amount of casting was 21 hours, and the maximum was 24.
Yeah.
Right. Appreciate that.
It's going to be a lot of coverage, a lot of casting. But on that note, again, there might be some matchups where we'll ask a community. We'll be like, all right, we need some help. Which one do you want to see covered? And we'll give you the chance to, of course, vote for it and see which match you guys want to be covered. And it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I mean, yeah, I love how it starts. I love how it finishes. I mean, I really think the schedule worked out very, very well.
I think we should be clear that we'll give people some matches to vote for.
No, that's actually the other point I was going to bring up. We also, especially with teams coming from countries like Russia, like Malaysia, of course, you want to be able to represent them as much as possible too. So, want to definitely get them some credit and some exposure for that matter. And so, it's very, very deserving. So,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna have some fun with that. Definitely look forward to it. Phil,
I'm pumped.
Yeah, I was there. Sorry. It's,
that was it, man. I'm just pumped. Just looking at this. It's like, you're sort of like, yeah, I'm going to DreamHack. Yeah, really and seeing it now, it's just like, shit, man. we're going to be at DreamHack. Like it's, I've been there on the other side of the fence, so it's, you know, Breaky, you've been there on the boss side of the fence. You're on the front, you're on the stage. So you're like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I got that experience. I'm like,
No,
I've been the guy in the audience. Wow.
as I've said before, man, it's something. Like, you get on that stage, like when you hear the crowd, and you know that they're cheering for Han, they're cheering for competitive Han, they're cheering for the teams, they're cheering for what's going on, the excitement. I mean, it really does, you know, it gets you those goosebumps, and like, this is awesome. Like, people really do care and are passionate for the game from a spectator point of view. And yeah, so the DreamHack Arena, I mean, that's definitely something else. But this whole event, it is going to be epic. I mean, it's been going in steps, obviously starting with the qualifiers. Now here we are with the schedule that we got to look at and just created here. So, you know, we're taking it steps at a time. But by the way, when is this? It's the 16th and the 17th, I want to say, are the 2 days.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Okay.
right. Yeah.
So the 16th and the 17th. So day 1, June 16th. Day 2, June 17th. So for those that were wondering as well.
But that's only the first 2 days of the event. DreamHack continues into the 18th, correct?
It does,
Right.
yeah. And that's going to be more of a day for, you know.
We got some stuff planned.
We do.
Don't worry about that.
We do.
Really?
got
We
some
do?
stuff planned.
Surprises?
Yes, we do.
Surprises? Yes.
Surprises, Phil.
Surprises
you
always
dog.
good.
Yeah, we'll be releasing more information about that as it becomes more available. You know, I know that there will most likely be something with a new map that might have come out recently, but that's all I'm gonna say about it.
What could that be? Kyle's actually bringing up a good
Breaks on the
question.
case.
I'll get down to this, damn it. Swinnemelon's brought up a question, and it's actually a good point to bring it up. How will the tiebreaker work, Phil? Which there could very likely be a tiebreaker in the group stage.
Right, there could be, and I guess we'll have to have one. So
There you go.
tiebreaker. It'll be a best of one tiebreaker, just like we did for DreamHack Winner.
Okay. Is it going to be something like? Well, it's head-to-head matchup though. So if it's a 3-way tiebreaker, that's where you'll need to
Right.
Do what we
We've
did
planned.
in DreamHack
I mean,
Winner.
we've planned. We've planned to have a little bit of space in between these events. Like on the good side of things. Okay, so let me break it down as far as the hours are concerned. In the best case scenario, we're gonna have teams A, B, F, and C will have 9 hours of sleep. Teams E and G, 9 hours of rest, I should say, in between games. Teams E and G will have 10 hours, and Team D will have 11 hours.
Yeah.
So Team D, that's Orange Esports, I believe. I guess they may luck out and get quite a bit of rest. Team H, which is the BYOC team, they're at 8 hours, give or take. So,
like we about that.
please, as long as people keep to the schedule, and we're not stuck in the same position we were at Winter, where for instance, Team Easy was late to their match, so we had to push matches back, and then we were like scrambling back and forth to find out who was supposed to be up when. Like this time around, we're looking at it right now. It's how many days until the tournament? We have 7, 14.
It's like 3 weeks.
So 21, so 23 days until the tournament.
Yeah.
You have 23 days to make sure when you're supposed to play. If you're not there, you forfeit your match. That's how it's going to be. Like, you will be there on time, or you'll just forfeit your match, because I'm not going to mess around. I think being lenient is okay in the online tournaments at times, but in an offline event with this much money on the line, and you want to be considered a professional gamer, you're going to conform to professional standards, which means being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Here.
I agree. That's a good point to make.
Well said, Papa Phil.
So I think so doing all the math, there should be, like I said, a pretty decent amount of rest time on that second day, and you'll notice the way that if you really look into it, the way that we've organized the group play. There's actually plenty of time. Like, there's times when a team, for instance, Team A plays 2 matches in a row, and then they're off for 2 matches, and they play 2 matches in a row, then they're off for 1 match. So we're going to give people plenty of time, an hour here, an hour there, to go out, experience DreamHack, get some food, take a piss, do what you got to do.
Billies, baby.
It's not going to just be you sitting at the computer for for 20 hours, and you don't get to do anything else. And the same thing is, goes for day 2, where in day 2, like, we're giving teams opportunities to get out and go around. And if there are no tiebreakers and there are nothing like that, I mean, we're going to have, like, if the semifinals only go 2 games or something like that, I mean, you're going to have, an hour and 2 hours here where nobody's even playing. And that way you guys can get yourself more mentally prepared or do other things, during your time. But I do want to reiterate that this schedule will be held to as tight as possible, as tightly as possible, and I am not afraid to make a team forfeit. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not out $60,000.
It's true though, and it's unfortunate schedule kind of forces that, but at the same time, you got it. You are stuck to a schedule, so hopefully that doesn't prove to be an issue though. As really shouldn't to be. I mean, you go to an event like this, it's not like, oh, well, we want to hang out somewhere else. We want to have fun. I mean, you're here. You should be here at this event to compete in Heroes of Newerth, and that should be your focus at least for these 2 days. So,
I mean, and you have a whole other day after the tournament's done to be at DreamHack and do your
exactly.
thing. So,
exactly.
I mean, work hard, play hard. It's my motto.
It's a lot of fun hanging out with the Han community, especially, and for the all the events that we've had the chance to go to, NASL, former DreamHacks, it is a lot of fun, and, that will happen, again, at this event. But
yeah, I mean, we have a lot of great things planned for DreamHack besides just, the tournament. Obviously, I talked about, doing something, a little more fun-based, but there will be some cash on the line. On the 18th, as well as we're also planning a complete player get-together, like dinner, where you guys on the dime of S2, you'll come out to a restaurant that we have reserved, and you'll get to have a nice dinner, including like appetizers, meal, maybe a couple drinks. I mean, there's definitely going to be some opportunity for everybody to get together.
That's just to
really be the community.
To clarify, that's for the competitors, right?
Right, the competitors, right.
Come on!
For the teams, right, for the teams that we have invited to basically the 7 invited teams and the BYOC team. Like, those teams who played in the tournament, we will take those teams out to to a dinner and show them that we do appreciate what they've done for Han Esports and them sticking with the game for as long as they have. So we really do want to show our appreciation to those players and let them know that if you're from Southeast Asia, if you're from CIS, if you're from North America, from Europe, like, you're still part of the Han family. We still care about you, and we definitely want to try and breed, more of a community feel between the clients and less of the segregation that has kind of been running rampant since we released the Southeast Asian client in the CIS client.
I'm counting right here. I'm still trying to figure out who this last team is. 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's not them. I don't know. So we'll get that figured out though. Whoever that last team is supposed to be for Orange. It's not Orange versus Frey, but anyways. All right though. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of an event, man.
It should be. If I'm looking at the schedule, it should be D versus G.
Okay, D versus G. So that would be who's G?
Frey versus Orange, right? And where else is Orange?
Frey versus Orange is also 18 to 1900. So that might be a...
I don't know. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, it could be possible. I remember specifically there being, when I first did the schedule, like 2 matches that were just going to be like one team versus one team, and then when I redid it, so we may just need to take a look at that again. But worst comes to worst.
Where will the schedule be out? Like the official schedule?
The official schedule will be available on DreamHack.com. We are, currently getting that website turned over from the Beyond Gaming, where we had everybody register, to being an actual coverage portal. So DreamHack.com will be your, one-stop location for everything for DreamHack Summer 2012 for Heroes of Newerth. We'll have everything from team bios available to, VODs being posted, as well as a live stream where you can view it all there. And we'll have constant updates, Twitter feeds. Xander K will be doing a lot of updates as far as everything. Yeah, basically. So I mean, there's going to be a lot for everybody on DreamHack.com. So make sure that you bookmark that and keep checking back as we begin to make updates to it. I wouldn't expect for there to be much of anything on there probably until the beginning of June. But that is where all the information will be. And any schedule updates that happen will, of course, be there, and I'll also post about them on the forums and competitive discussion.
Okay. There you go, guys. So it's going to be plenty of coverage, plenty of information out there. I mean, again, I just said that we're just over 3 weeks away. I mean, it's getting very close. Getting very, very
ridiculous.
Close. So, going to be fun. Going to be crazy fun. So. Can't wait for that. Again, so the official schedule, so obviously maybe a couple of tweaks need to be made to this, but the official schedule will be up on DreamHack, as Phil stated. Looking forward to really finding out that, and look forward to those polls, guys, and what matches you want to see casted at certain times, what we end up choosing. So we're going to give you the community a chance to definitely be interactive with this as well. Going to be a blast. So. On that note, I think it is time to move on to our final topic that we wanted to bring up here. And actually, a big reason why I wanted to have you, Phil, come on, because you hinted at perhaps some extra news that you wanted to talk about on the podcast tonight. So, the floor is yours.
Well, I know that a couple of weeks ago, or I guess maybe it's more than a couple now, last time I was on the podcast, we talked about the Plantronics tournament that was running, and there was definitely some talk about how, it's NA only, when are the Europeans going to get to see, something that's, bigger than just like the $2,000 or $3,000 prize pools that we've been seeing from Itsugosu, which, by the way, big shout out to Itsugosu. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for Han, since coming out here, and they've been a really great partner for us to work with, and they've run some exquisite tournaments and haven't had any complaints from players. But I am very excited to announce that Cooler Master has teamed up with us and Cybersports Network to run the Honor Tournament number 3, so the CM Honor Tournament 3. For those of you who have been around for a while, you know that the first Honor Tournament was the Honcast Honor Tournament, and then Kingston ran one right before DreamHack Winter, and this time we'll be running ours right before DreamHack Summer. So this will be a DreamHack warm-up tournament. We have $5,000 on the line, as well as some gear. I know that we're sending out, our Cooler Master is going to be sending out 5 CM Storm headsets, the Sirius headset, to the top team. That's these ones right here, in case you're wondering if you want to look at them. They are 5.1 Dolby or digital surround sound headsets. They are very, very nice. But additionally, they're going to have, for the second place team, 2 or 5 Quickfire Rapid keyboards, mechanical keyboards, and then 5 Sentinel mice for the third place team. So there's going to be a lot of money, a lot of swag out there, and definitely don't miss your chance to sign up. We will be posting all the information about it tomorrow. You can look for more information on the Facebook, as well as on the forums and stuff like that. So, and I'm sure we'll be making a message on the message of the day in game, as well as probably sending an all message to everybody else. So definitely look out for the signups for that. And the signups will last about 9 days. So we're going to have plenty of opportunities for people to sign up. The tournament itself will run. Let me pull up the actual information just to make sure that, again, I don't get anything wrong.
You said it's an international event, right?
Yes, it is international. It is international. The times will be more European-centric. So just so everybody knows, I would expect the matches to probably be happening around 9 or 10 p.m. Central European time. So we'd be expecting, 2200 for the beginning of matches. With the match.
Hello.
Oh no.
Hey Phil, get in here. Apparently, it's a good freeze frame though. Serious making.
That was a really good freeze frame.
He was on a roll there, but just wasn't to be, I guess. So hopefully you can get reconnected there. Oh, looks like he's coming back now.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, loud and clear.
Okay, well, my laptop, which I was using to stream from my webcam, because my webcam looks like crap on my desktop, just blue screen to death. So
nice.
That's pretty nice. What was the last thing you heard me say?
The times.
European.
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, it is more European-centric timing. However, the tournament will happen on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And the format is actually going to be a mix and match of formats between, a single elimination at the beginning where we go through the round of, 256, 128, 64, 32, and then the top 16 teams will be placed into 4 group stages, or 4 groups, and then we'll have group stage matches. The top 2 from each of those groups will obviously go into the quarterfinals, where all matches will be best of 3 from that point on. Now, we may choose. We've been kind of going back and forth with CSN about like what the proper format is and how we want to cover this. I would love to do best of 3 for all rounds, but I do know that it is quite time consuming. So I just want to make sure that we do have the proper amount of time. But yeah, that will begin, or matches will begin on Friday, June 1st, and then the grand finals will culminate on Sunday, June 10th, which is of course right before, the week right before DreamHack. Mm-hmm. So then people will have that week to do their thing, do their traveling and stuff like that, and then everybody should be nice and warmed up for DreamHack.
That's cool. Yeah, that's going to be a great lead-in. $5,000 prize pool, good chunk of money, great lead-in to the event. I would find it hard to believe that all the teams that are going to DreamHack, at least your Black Fate, TDM, Frey, and maybe even Fnatic, I would like to see them in this event. So hopefully they do sign up for it. But that's going to be a lot of fun, and I love also the stages, especially group stage. I've always dissed. I'm a huge fan of that format. So
I did it for you, actually.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Thanks, buddy.
Definitely a good chance for Fnatic to sign up for that too, because they're going to be boot camping.
Yeah, you said it was it's unlimited amount of signups. I mean, it's just how many ever happen, or is there going to be a limit?
Well, we have it scheduled. Like we originally had it scheduled for 128, but with DreamHack recently and the massive amount of teams that signed up for that, we increased it to 256. So we'll see what happens if things go past that and people are really itching to play, then we may choose to make a change with that.
Cool.
But for now, we have it scheduled at 128. If more than that sign up, then we'll make adjustments. But we're planning to be able to support up to 256 teams.
Okay, and I'm sorry, was there a date that you said that this would be starting, the event as a whole?
June 1st.
June 1st, okay.
June 1st, yeah.
June 1st.
When the first matches will start.
So look forward to that.
And Honcast will cover it, or else.
Yeah, we will. Of course we will.
I'm just kidding.
No, I am. That is exciting. It really is, and especially as an event to lead into the DreamHack event. So it's good knowing that we will have some solid content going into that event, especially. So
nice preview of the teams.
Yeah, exactly.
See who's
Possible
favored for the
final
BYOC
matchups.
going in.
It would be awesome if we could. Obviously, Southeast Asian teams might be a little bit unrealistic, as well as the Russian team, but it'd been cool. All right.
What do you think about that, Sir Ori?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. You're going to have to repeat. I really wasn't listening. Someone sent me a message, and I missed that last 3 sentences of glory.
Whatever,
and then I saw
still
this trolling in
Sir
chat.
Ori.
Sorry.
Sir Ori.
Phil's had enough.
Phil's had enough. Phil's done.
Just leaves.
That's it. I'm done.
Why am I dealing with these
done.
guys? I gave my news.
I was actually telling the owner of It's Gosu that Phil gave a very nice shout-out to It's Gosu on the podcast. I know he doesn't watch normally, so I just wanted to relay a very nice message. Spreading some positivity.
Fair enough.
Could all use more positivity in our lives.
Yeah, so no, that's good information to have, though. It is, and June 1st, as he said, that's when we can expect it to start. I believe also tomorrow is going to be more announcement on it, and actually maybe even sign up starting tomorrow. So there you go, guys. There you go. It's cool to hear. It's kind of a lead in to the DreamHack event. So, man, these next couple of weeks, next 3 weeks really, just going to be epic. Going to be a lot of fun and
again, $5
plenty
grand plus
to cover.
stuff.
Yeah, plus cool
Plus
stuff on the side, as we said with the headphones.
Stuff
Plus
is cool.
some plastic.
People like stuff.
All right, guys. I think we're at that point, though. We've definitely covered plenty, and as we expected to, and still maybe even more to talk about. But in the end, obviously, coming up to that 2-hour mark, and I'd like to start wrapping up a podcast here when we get to this mark.
It's time for a Honcast podcast after party. Is that the plan?
Possible. We'll see. Maybe Ziori can start that up.
Wreck the Rangers.
But yeah, there's a very important hockey match on tonight. I got to watch that. Sorry.
There is.
I have a lot of slaying to do in Diablo 3, man.
That too. There's that thing too.
That too.
there's my Inferno Act 3 wizard. Might have to. I'm just. What's that? Did I say that? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Didn't mean to gloat about that.
You know what? I'll be honest. I killed Asmodon on Inferno yesterday, Breaky. So I'm saying, what's up?
No, you didn't. Frapster didn't happen.
Achievement, son. That's all I got to say.
Frapster didn't happen.
Jeez.
Look at this swag here. Okay.
I wish I was a pirate.
5K.
Anyways,
achievements.
the top 10 guys. By the way, again, that'll be on our site. It'll be on our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Honcast. I'm gonna get that up right after this podcast. In fact, it's up. It just needs to be made public, so I'll do that right after this. But let's wrap up the show, though, guys. Let's go around like we do. Ziori, we'll start with you. Shout-outs, buddy. What do you got?
Oh, well, I'll follow in Phil's footsteps because he is such a good role model. Shout out to It's Gosu for the work I did with them in the past and, keeping up with it. It's good to see those constant tournaments still going down. Shout out to my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at ZioriTV. I'm all about the Twitter, as you guys know. I think Twitter's a pretty cool thing. Shout out to everyone that's competing in Han right now, keeping the scene alive. I am so fucking pumped for DreamHack. Had to add that qualifier in because I'm really pumped up. I'm absolutely... words cannot convey how excited I am. Looking forward to traveling abroad, meeting everybody who's there to watch Han. I know some people have been like, oh, looking forward to seeing you guys at DreamHack. I'm pumped to shaking hands with every single one of you. Wash your hands first.
There are a lot of people that want to shake hands, just to warn you.
I'd like to shake hands.
It's getting weird.
It's
getting weird.
So, and shaking hands,
But shaking hands is cool. Regardless, I'm pumped up and looking forward to...
Jesus Christ.
It comes right in the middle of Ziori. Shut up!
Shout out. I'm looking forward to DreamHack and this. Jesus Christ! No, that's about it, though. I'm looking forward to just having a really good event. It sounds like it's going to be a really well-run, organized event. Everything seems to be going to plan thus far, at least. So I'm greatly looking forward to many sleepless nights in Sweden.
Well, the goal is to get everybody some sleep. That was
maybe.
Goal. You're funny.
Goal.
Yeah, goal.
Go! Xander K. Shoutouts.
Shoutouts as always to my lovely fiance. Shoutouts to everyone over at S2 Games. Shoutouts to you fine fellows for podcastering. Awesome. Shoutouts to the entire Han community for continuing to be badasses. Hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been a little while since we've chatted in this format, so I hope you guys are enjoying Mid-Wars and all the other fun stuff we put in recently. We're all very proud of it, very happy with how it's been taken so far by you guys. Very excited about it. And, yeah, looking forward to DreamHack, as Phil said. Also, one more thing, guys, if you could do me a favor, when you're in your Han client, you're a little bored, not too much to do, waiting for a game, or, friend's taking his frickin' time in, like, a 50-minute game that's already over, and you're like, just concede, and he's like, no, bro, we can win, you're like, whatever. Turn on that Han TV, click that logo on the side here, because there's going to be a couple new faces in there in the near future trying to make that. It's a cool feature, we want to make it a little bit cooler, a little bit more interesting, so you can see some new faces in the near future over there, so go check that out. Especially Mr. Keizu, who's in there. What's up, Keizu?
Phil the Thrill, you're back with us. Shoutouts you got?
Obviously to my girlfriend Lainey and daughter Bryn. I want to give a big shout out to you, Breaky CPK, my homie, who gave me a shout out on an interview that I never even saw before the other day, and apparently you did it like at the end of April or something like that. And the very first shout out you gave was to me. Said to Phil the Thrill, my homie.
Some love, man. Some love.
I know.
Bromance
I know.
going on.
I really hope that like the interview that we did with the two of us. I hope we can really get the raw file, because that was a great interview, despite the fact that it was like 40 minutes long. People are going to be like, holy shit.
Why are we watching this?
Right. But, it was pretty good. So, obviously, shout out to the, to Cooler Master for sponsoring the upcoming Cooler Master Honor Tournament. To the people who we've been working with a lot in the past, Alienware, specifically Alienware Arena, who have helped us a lot with DreamHon, and to everybody else out there who is, currently tuned in, and I miss you guys, the Honcast faithfuls. If you have been missing my casting, I definitely think there will be some times when I hop on the mic at DreamHack. We all know how that goes.
Yeah,
so we all will.
It's a Kraken Ultimate for the ages!
It's a Kraken Ultimate for the ages!
So, and then a final shout out to my Han Tour admins, and a big shout out especially to Mr. Olchata, who is not here right now, but definitely, you'll understand why soon.
All right, and as for myself, guys,
Shout out.
yeah, we saw. Shout out to you guys, the community. Love you guys. Obviously, without you guys, wouldn't be here in the first place. Keep stressing that because I really do mean it. Really big shout out to you. Shout out to Cammie and Murray, producers. They definitely do a lot of work behind the scenes, and really appreciate having them on. Have made my job so much easier. So it's been a lot of fun working with them. Xander K, Phil the Thrills, Ziori, you guys are co-casting, doing your work, doing your thing, being some bros. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, so that looks like it is going to wrap it up, though. Big shout out to the G-Spot. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Honcast podcast officially over. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I'm going to wrap it up, actually, with the top 10 video once again for those that missed it. So here you go. Have a good night, guys. See you later.
Game time, baby. Let's do this.
Champions, they've been in this appearance before.
The genocide for Team Easy. Torture going in, but at what cost right here? Yes! I'm BreakyCBK, and these are the Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings. Every 2 weeks, we take a poll from 15 competitive players and community members to find out where teams rank against one another according to the community. Someone who submits a poll will give their own top 10 list of the current competitive Hon teams, where each place gets a specific amount of points ranging from first place getting 10 points, second place getting 9 points, and so on, all the way down to 10th place getting only 1 point. Things that the voters take into consideration when making their list are recent results, activity of the team, recent big matchups, and previous rankings, amongst other things. Once we have all of the submissions in, we add up all the lists to get our official Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings. Here's how the list breaks down for this week's Honcast Top 10 Community Rankings, May 23rd, 2012. Teams that were just outside the top 10 list included Bren, who got 10 points, Vitriolic with 15 points, and Deserto, now known as the 90s, with 20 points. In the 10th spot, Orange Esports Malaysia barely squeaked in, being the only team from the Southeast Asian region to do so. Orange will now be representing the Southeast Asian region as a result of winning the qualifiers for DreamHack last week. With the 9th position, Clan Milk made it into the top 10. Although they lost in the DreamHack North American qualifiers earlier than expected, they did have a very impressive victory over BlackFay.org in the ESL Major Series quarterfinals. Coming in 8th, HanPortal.org got by. Although Port has been in a bit of a struggle recently with some disappointing finishes, they're still showing that they are worthy of a top 10 placement. For the 7th position, SGTY, who were known as coming soon in the DreamHack event, got in. A team that is going through some changes, their success in the DreamHack event, which included competing in the finals of the EU qualifiers, got them into the spot.
Silhouette, of course, back up. They're going to try to jump right here. Mag with the eruption. Swinomellos picks up a double tap right there in the midst of it all. You see RTJ with that shrunken head. That does nothing, though, against that Mage Bane. Electrician goes down. There's the vote to concede. And it looks like it is going to be official. SGTY's going on to the grand finals to meet up with BlackFay.org and get that rematch in the best of the fun.
At number 6, we have A-Man, who have seemed to be a very consistent team. Not having any big tournament victories, but always managing to do very well in them. Starting the top 5 with the 5th spot, Team It's Gosu barely edged out A-Man by 1 point. You could argue that this is fair, seeing as Team It's Gosu beat AY in the DreamHack EU qualifiers, but Team It's Gosu also has been a mix of success and disappointment. With the 4th spot, Fnatic Raycall was able to secure it. Not competing in the DreamHack event as a result of already qualifying for DreamHack Summer 2012 has meant that they haven't really been too active in recent history. But having results including defeating TDM in the CSM Play Heroes Cup shows that they are still very solid. In the 3rd position, BlackFay.org has become a powerhouse team on the competitive scene, winning the DreamHack EU qualifiers. However, Frey has proven to be a bane for them as they lost to them both in the CSM Play Heroes Cup as well as the Fnatic Play Tournament.
Wolfon going to go shortly after the Obliterate activator. Really not doing a hell of a lot of damage, but Polywog Priest going to lock down for Sagan Archer again. Smacks Donald, not going to get that shrunken head off, and he's going to fall. Now Electrician in big trouble. The Plague bouncing around doing a hell of a lot of damage between Luna and Glacius. Glacius going to try and pour it out, but it's not going to be enough.
In a very close race, the second place team that comes out to be Frenetic Array. Receiving 6 out of the 15 first place votes shows that there's at least a good mix of opinion. Frey did have a big victory over the weekend, though, taking out TDM in the semifinals of the Fnatic Play Tournament.
Back to see right here, they're going to jump Jair's. The Shrunken is not off cooldown. It didn't even matter, though. He explodes to the ground right there. Fade will get jumped as well, and Fade will fall to the ground. Moraxis standing his ground, hoping for the best, but again, there's just no damage output coming out from the Legion team right now, especially with Fade dead. Cthulhuphon charges away. He will get the charge on top of Moraxis, setting up to killing him, and now this tower will fall. There goes the vote you can see coming out. GG, well played is being called.
And to wrap up the top 10 community rankings for this week, Trademark Esports are the #1 team. Getting 9 of the 15 first place votes proved to be needed as they only beat Frey by a total of 3 points. Weekend got us 2 best-of-3 series between these two teams, where they split between one another.
Pebbles will combo right there. Ooh, and here we go. They know his combo's down. I'm not sure about that decision. Samwraith will pour it in. Will he test his curse? No, not enough mana for test his curse, actually. That's kind of a big deal, but Pebbles will get caught. Will chuck Samwraith away, but the Bat Blast comes out, finishing him off. The Sonar Scream hitting Torture as well, and Torture dropping quickly. Behemoth jumps in with an ultimate on top of Cthulhuphon and the Electrician, and they will start dropping, but not enough. Trample coming out, not going to be enough when the Electrician and Cthulhuphon fall. And there's the port out from Nymphoria. GG's are being called, and it looks like Trademark Esports are going to be your ESL Major Series number 10 Heroes Newer Champions.
Will TDM be able to hold the #1 spot next time around? Will teams just on the outside of the top 10 this time be able to make it in next time? We'll have to wait and see. Until next time, Hon community, stay classy.